We are live. We are live. It's Friday. Welcome to For Evan's Sake Daily. My name is Neodate Evans.
And I'm Nana Evans.
And we bring you the news from a parenting perspective. On today's show, Alec Baldwin has been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Rishi Sunak is being investigated by the police for not wearing his seatbelt. The government has admitted to spending more on strikes than they would if they actually had paid people. And Ed Sheeran pays a touching tribute to Jamal Edwards. We've got all of that, plus, of course, our parenting conundrums.
Conundrum.
Let's get into this.
Yep.
Alec Baldwin, he has been charged with involuntary responsible for the safety of blah, blah. I don't think this is fair.
Why?
So it's her job, it's her responsibility to make sure that everybody is safe. The guns are, all sorted and taken care of.
Yeah. She
has failed at her job. Number one, why is there even live rounds on that? That's a question I'd really love to know the answer to.
Although apparently there has been, and that isn't it's not supposed to be like that, but there has been live rounds on set before. Not just this set, but within Hollywood, and that's what they're trying to change. So
that's ridiculous.
So that has been a thing that has taken place.
All right.
But
so even more so, this is a thing that takes place. We know that we now have a set that could possibly be contaminated at any one point with live ammunition rounds. So there is more of an onus on you to make sure that we clearly know what is what.
Yeah.
By the time the gun reaches the actor's hand, the actor shouldn't be thinking, is there a live round? They're concentrating on the scene.
There is also that stipulation that a lot of actors do also do another check just to be sure. So there are, there's safety checks, especially when you're doing shooting scenes and stuff. There are safety checks. So there should be a succession of people that are checking everything is okay and everybody is going to be safe. And it seems like within this film, there was a catalogue of things that were not being checked. There wasn't enough staff. They had issues along the way. Catering, all manner of stuff seemed to be that this was being run on a shoe budget, but it's dangerous for the film that they were doing.
And I suppose with him being an executive producer, you shoulder some of that responsibility. I think
that's why he is also getting a charge with this. Because you remember when he did that interview, he was really, obviously there's a possibility of a charge. So he was really selling himself to be a bit of a victim in this as well.
Yeah.
And I get it. You didn't think there was going to be a live round, but you still have a body on your hands. You pressed the trigger, you still shot. And it injured the director and it killed the cinematographer. I think some type of charge would be expected. If we were normal people and this took place, some type of charge would be levied. This is an accident charge, though. It is,
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, and I guess that's also reflected in the sentencing, because if either of them are found guilty, then the maximum sentencing is 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine, which, when you think about it in comparison to somebody's life, doesn't feel like a lot.
Exactly.
And then also on the back of that, I also think about the impact that it would have individually for each of them. So I feel like if Alec Baldwin was found guilty, did 18 months, which I don't think he would. I don't think he ever would.
I don't think he will,
but a $5,000 fine isn't going to hurt him.
Yeah.
I feel like for the armourer, a $5,000 fine could be quite hefty on you. Doing time, which you are way more likely to do because of the role that you played in this. And then after that, you're never going to work again.
No.
Like, that's it for you. You're done.
I would say the industry is not going to touch her in any way, shape or form. I don't think she's going to be on another set ever. So that's your career kind of gone, as well as her career is probably over with anyway, regardless of what type of charge. I can't see anybody working with her again on this or in this field. So, that's a hefty punishment.
Yeah. I mean, I do wonder what do you do? Like can you even go into another area within the industry? I don't even think you can.
If she has that charge, that conviction, I don't know. It's America. I wouldn't be surprised if she could still work with guns. Who knows? Maybe she could work in a gun range or something. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some way that she actually can still carry on a career.
Well, here's the thing. What's interesting is that there are police officers who have been convicted for various crimes and then have lost their job within that police department, within that county, and have literally gone to the next county.
Well, not being convicted of a crime, it's like you've been sacked. Yeah, and you can go to another job.
No, there's one that's been convicted.
And he managed to get another police job.
Don't quote me on this, but I swear the guy that shot Tamir Rice, he had been convicted of something and then moved to somewhere else. But if I'm wrong,
I won't be surprised, but as far as I'm aware, it literally is like you get sacked and then you can go somewhere else. And you could
which in itself is ridiculous.
You could do the same thing there and keep on moving.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
But anyway. That's a sad one. There's no like justice in this.
No, there isn't.
A wife lost her life at her job, and so really it's just it's tragically sad. Yeah,
it is. Moving on. Rishi's back in the news.
Yes.
You see, this man was quiet for the beginning of the year, but now he's just peppering us.
A bang.
Just peppering us. So Rishi Sunak is being investigated by the police for not wearing his seatbelt in the back of a moving vehicle. Why do we know this? Because he showed us. Yeah. He showed us himself breaking the law, and he did it all for social media.
As our Prime Minister, he decided, I am going to do a speech in the back of this car telling people about my day without my seatbelt on.
Without my seatbelt on. And the PM spokesman has come out and said that the Prime Minister made an error of judgment by briefly taking it off to film a social media clip during a trip to the north of England. And he fully accepts that it was a mistake and he apologizes. If I am ever stopped by the police for the same thing, this is what I'm going to say.
I mean, he may get a fine. Anyway,
but
that's the investigation, isn't it? The investigation is to give him a fine.
So here now, worst case scenario for Rishi Sunak, is that they investigate, i.e., watch the video, and see that he's not wearing a seatbelt, and they fine him £100. If for some reason Rishi is being bullish and he's like, "Nah, I'm going to court," and they go to court, and he gets found guilty, he gets fined £500.
Right.
Lest we not forget. Rishi has a few bob, okay? Yeah. His wife is a billionaire.
Yeah.
£500, I don't think that's bothering anybody.
I think he'll just give the £100 over. I mean, he's already apologized. So you're admitting, but we can see it visually. You actually thought it was a parody.
I did. It was the way his head was moving and everything. He's so awkward and gangly. And then his ears as well. And it was just like, what is this guy doing? Like, this guy's not serious.
It wasn't even a good piece of social media content.
It wasn't worth it.
No, I feel like whoever is his person that came up with this idea to do this little run of he's going around the country, like talking about this deal, this initiative that he's putting forward. It wasn't a great piece of content.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
And what makes it worse is that, and obviously there's been a number of things that Rishi has done which reinforces the fact that this man is so far removed from the likes of you and I in terms of regular people who get up and work. So I think the most recent one was he took an RAF jet to a series of meetings in the north of England. Yeah. Obviously, a while ago, there was the thing of him not knowing how to tap.
Yeah.
And then there was another issue with like filling up a car, all manner of things. And it's just like, how much more do we need to realize that these people are not for us? Not for us in any way, shape, or form.
He's a weird one. He keeps on trying.
And I think that's the thing that, I mean, I hate to say it, but like this is definitely the thing that Boris has over him. For some reason, Boris had that magic where he made the people believe that he was a man of the people.
I think it was reducing his intelligence considerably. And so Boris kind of turned himself into a clown who could fumble his way through and he's going to laugh at it. And people thought that was endearing.
Yeah, it was endearing,
They didn't really know. Like, what is that? What is he putting out there that he thinks everybody is?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
and I think Rishi, as well as being somebody that comes from a very wealthy background, but also coming from an immigrant family, that's always going to rub people up the wrong way. It's going to rub a lot of people up the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. People all around this country are not going to like those factors about him. But I think he should surround himself with a team that is a little bit more steeped in normality.
Mm-hmm.
And then he will have a better insight. Like I can imagine his press secretary is probably also from his world.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to actually court somebody. I'm not saying you let that person go. You have somebody else there that is a bit more grounded and they're a bit more normal.
Well, I think
you may not do these social media blunders, because that one was a howler.
It was a howler. It really was a howler. But I think the government in general, they all need a little bit of a reality check. So moving on, I'm jumping to the story of the tweet from Belle Ribeiro Addy. So she's a Labour MP, and she tweeted recently and said, the government is now openly admitting that blocking a settlement for striking rail workers has been more expensive than giving them the cost of living pay rise that they are asking for. If there's money to indemnify train companies and break strikes, there's money to pay workers.
Yes.
And again, another example of how these people are not for us.
Because it has nothing to do with money, and it has everything to do with power and keeping people in a certain space in life so that you can keep them under kibosh. And it has nothing to do with we don't have the money.
No. And so Hugh Merriman, who obviously is I can't remember his exact title, but his reasoning behind it. So he's admitted that the strikes have ended up costing more than it would if they had settled the disputes. But his argument is that overall impact on public sector pay deals must be considered. Hugh, riddle me this. When you guys have your pay increases, why is there never this level of scrutiny?
Yep.
When it comes to our public money paying you, but our public money when it comes to paying train workers
who keep this country going, who are in service to everyday people every day. We need them. They're essential staff. They seem to always be like, well, you need to budget better.
The government is really showing their hand in terms of like they've really got their boot on the neck of the working man. The fact that we had this government minister yesterday that was telling nurses to budget better.
Yep.
Again, whilst you're on 84,000, they're on 35,000, but they need to budget better. There's no reason why they should be going to a food bank. But these are the ones that have to fight for, like, MP salary. Inflation goes up, your salary goes
always
up. But everybody else, we have to fight for it. The same public purse.
Yeah. It is crazy. And it is like, you get the odd MPs that are like, I'm going to forego my pay increase and I'm going to hand it over to this thing they're making a point of actually we are able to survive on what we are getting paid. We don't always need to have a pay increase. That's not been the standard with this government. They are absolutely like, make do with what's going. Just make do, and we will do us. We will look after our people who need to be looked after, and you guys just make do.
Yeah, I don't know. I've said it before, and I say it again. Like, I don't know what it's going to take for something to change. I just feel like the way that the ordinary man and woman in this country is being treated by this government is just insanely outrageous and not fair.
Let's see. We have the 1st of February being like the highest day for striking, and it's going to be like the ambulance and nurses. There's
1st of February, stay in your yard. In fact, stay in your bed.
Railway, like there's going to be a lot of strikes on the 1st of February. And, that brings the country to a standstill in some capacity and affects some type of change. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think we should all stand behind these guys because, it's them now, but it's going to be the rest of us soon.
At some point, it will be the rest of us. Yeah. It really will. Moving on to slightly sadder news. So obviously we know last year it's almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
We lost Jamal Edwards quite suddenly at the young age of 31. And last night, Ed Sheeran released a tribute to Jamal, have you listened to it?
No.
It's quite a touching tribute.
I'm not in the headspace. I need to take a minute. Sometimes I have to pace myself with news. So I saw it and people commenting on it, and I was like, actually, not today. I'll give it a couple of days and I'll come to it.
So it was filmed inside Stamford Bridge, obviously, which is Chelsea Stadium. And obviously, Jamal was a lifelong fan of the club. And, it had Jamal's name spelled out in the stands.
Aww.
And then Ed was kind of surrounded by some lights in the middle, and he's done his little, his usual kind of Ed Sheeran freestyle singing sort of thing. And, in the song, he generally expressed his grief over losing Jamal. And then he spoke about, the pain of Jamal not being able to meet his daughter, and that if he was still here, he would have been her godfather.
Oh.
And I think one of the things I've always loved about Ed is he's never been shy or about admitting that essentially he would not be where he is if not for this man.
He put him on, absolutely. He believed in him. He took him places. He introduced him to everybody that he knew. That he really did champion Ed Sheeran in the beginning and really believed in him and put him in spaces that elevated him to where he is now.
Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the things that really stood out to me when Jamal passed is the amount of people that were like, do you know what this guy done for me?
Yeah.
And it really, for me at least, it really began to build a picture of this guy relentlessly and tirelessly working for other people.
Yeah.
Like in service to other people.
Yeah. He believed in the Black British scene and making it to be something that is the same as like the American scene.
Yeah.
That we have so much talent here. He believed in that connection. So it's a huge loss.
It really is.
Huge loss.
It really is. But yeah, rest in peace, Jamal. And if you get a chance, go check out the video.
I rate Ed Sheeran for doing this and just really keeping his name alive. There's a lot of his peers that absolutely are like, we are never going to forget you. Yeah. And it's lovely that he's done this as well.
I think Jamal, his legacy, and obviously legacy was something that was really, really important to him as well. And I think that in a year, 5 years, 10 years, even 20 years from now, I think he's going to be proud. He's going to be really proud of his legacy. And I think his mum and his sister, they will all be really proud of the legacy that he'll leave behind.
In a short space of time. It's
like just crazy, like 31 years, man.
I mean, imagine he started when he was like 15. Yeah. So he really changed a lot of things. There are so many YouTubers who would not be YouTubers or creating music channels if it wasn't for him and SBTV.
I remember sitting at my desk at work watching channels, watching his channel.
Yeah.
And just thinking look, all these kids having fun running around on YouTube. But even then, I didn't even realize what was happening.
Yeah.
Like you're watching culture happen in front of you.
Yeah.
And, man. Wow. Big up to that man. No.
Okay.
What is our parenting conundrum for today?
Our parenting conundrum today is, all right, my son is 16 and he has his learner's permit. So I guess that's his provisional driving license for the UK. Mm-hmm. He can get his full license in March. His older sister and brother had 5 private driving lessons, the licensing course and the plate, and it takes you to the okay, so you have the lessons and then you take a test at the end of it. Okay, this lady is divorced from the father for almost 10 years, and she has asked the father of this child, can we split the cost? Less than $200. He responded with, that's what child support is for. I said, this is extra, and I haven't asked him for an increase in support ever, or submitted receipts for co-pays in the last 5 to 6 years, because they're not that much, and I could, she can do it herself. So they come out at the same, these extras that she hasn't put forward to him comes out at about the same as half of these lessons. Yeah. So this is why she's like, can you pay for this? All right. So mind you, when support was set, he saw the child once a week. Now he's moved, he only sees the child a few times in a year. Is she out of order for asking for this help with their youngest child?
No, she's not. She's not out of order for asking for the help.
I think putting in that he also spends less time with the child, obviously, because the more time is the less money that you have to spend. So now you're only seeing a handful. I actually am spending more money on this child all the time anyway.
The only variable that I would say would go in the father's favor would be if we knew the specific amount of money. And obviously, there's no way of knowing yet.
Giving.
So it's like, let's just throw an arbitrary number out there. Let's just say she's, for some reason, he's very wealthy, whatever, and he's paying her like $4 or $5 grand a month or what have you. And it's like, well, yeah, you need to take it out of that money, okay? All things being considered. The reality is, it's not going to be that much. And the money that you pay every month for 16 or 18?
He's 16.
16. Now, my 10 and 9-year-old eat.
Yeah.
Like, eat. So 16-year-olds are going to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then obviously you're not even factoring clothing and going out, phone bills, this, that, and the other. So this idea of, you know what it is I think a lot of men have this thing of when they're giving over child support, it's like they're giving it to the woman. I'm giving the woman money. And it's like, this is money for your child. So even look at what it is that your child is trying to do. Like they're learning to drive. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for everybody, especially at that age. It's like, why wouldn't you want to at least be a part of that? Why wouldn't you as a father want to say like, yeah, here, son, here's the money. Go do your driving lesson. And can you not even see that even in your pettiness, the only person, not even the only person, but the real person and the most important person that you are hurting is your son.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because it's like you're penny pinching and you're counting like, I'm giving her this much but she's going to go and get her hair done and her nails done, this, that, and the other. And I always use the analogy of like, if I have a cup of water and then you pour some water into it and then I drink some of that water and I use the rest of the water to water the garden. But you are like, well, no, the water was for you to drink. How are you going to get that water back? Water is water. It's all mixed in together. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you can't like be precious over this money that you give over because it's like, it's gone. It's there. You've done your duty. You've paid for your child. And sometimes, a lot of the time, as a father, you need to go above and beyond. Yeah. So even if you feel like you shouldn't be paying this money, at least speak to the child and come to some arrangement with the child. Maybe be like, maybe if the child has a part-time job or something like that, it's a bit like, son, you know what? I'm going to help you with this, but you got to bring 100. I'll bring 100. And then that at least is instilling something in the child.
Oh, it's an extra expense that isn't a normal on a monthly.
Yeah.
Like this isn't a monthly charge that is going in there. Did
she ask him to split it or ask him to pay it?
Split it. And he's like, what you want in that split should come out of what I pay you in child support. And it's like, this isn't the support of your child. This is extra. This is an extra expense. Yeah. So child support, that is going on his housing, his food, his clothing. Yeah. It's all contributed to that. This is now an extra expense. So in effect, he's saying this extra expense, you deal with it. On top of you are bringing him up full time and I'm coming in to look after him from time to time.
The child should have asked. He's 16, the child should have asked.
You know what? Sometimes that doesn't even do anything. And I don't think that should also go on the kid to see those sides of their parents.
You know, I think at 16, you need to be able to see who you're dealing with.
I don't agree with that because people are always, this is a thing.
It's better they know.
It always goes on the mother that is also the one that is in the house bringing the child up the majority of the time. And then when a child has differing opinions on the father or the mother, it goes on to that parent that has been in the house all the time that they have done something. Really, this is something just as parents you want to do for your kids. And for him to be like, get it out of child support, you know, it really, I can imagine her sitting there thinking, this is why I should have been increasing the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to be like, let's just do this nicely. And then it gets thrown back into your face. Yeah, you still have to pay more. You've moved out of state. I'm now looking after this child even more than you anyway. And you still don't want to contribute just so that they are able to get a driving license. But you're probably bragging somewhere, I have 3 children. It's infuriating that people will do this stuff. It's like your child support is just contributing to their well-being. There's always going to be extra costs in there. It can't be everything is from this child support.
He failed. He failed. So, like, on 3 days on a trot now, I've called people bad parents. At least give me this one. At least give me this one. He is a bad parent. That's bad parenting, man. That's bad. And that's only ever going to come back on you.
Or be honest and say, I really don't have the money at this time.
Yeah, which is fair.
Like, you can, people can also say this as well, if it's true. Because I have a father that would always say, I don't have the money at this time, but you had money to spend on other things. So, but if it's really true, to say, I don't have it at this time, can you do it? And when I get it 2 months, then I'm going to give you that money back, whatever. But it can't be your blanket statement is take it out of the money that I already give you. This is not rent and clothing. No. This is extra.
Yeah. He failed.
It's disappointing reading these ones. I am like, oh, come on. But I mean, the thing of child support and supporting your kids is something that will always be raging on. And I know there'll be some men watching this and women who will be like, no, it's on the mother to do that because he's paying child support.
Yeah. Not this time. You can't. It's not black and white. You can't just look at it like that. I think as a parent, going back to what I said earlier, like, why would you not want to be a part of this milestone in your child's life? Why would you not want to help them?
I mean, you'd think so, but you do see a lot about like the extra clubs and being asked to pay for like ballet lessons, and they're not cheap. And somebody being like, I gave you child support. And it's like,
that's not what child support is for. It's not what it's for.
I should pay rent, food, clothing, spending time, entertainment, and ballet lessons from your child. Like, people in those situations just start sending full breakdowns of how your child support is being spent. Well, I really do advocate for that long period of time with the other parent that's not always there, because going over, every other weekend and having them for 32 hours, 48 hours for long ones, you are not getting an insight into anything. And that's over a weekend, what the week is really like. Yeah. You need to be doing the odd 2-week stints all the time. Like, you need to know what full-time parenting is like. And I think you will have an increased sense of appreciation for that parent that is doing it relentlessly all the time when you're just dipping in and out for a couple of days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you'll know what it's like and how much it truly costs. Your electricity bill.
Yeah, it's a different ball game. Like, living with a child full time compared to having them on the weekends, every other weekend, it's a completely different ball game.
I think it's not fair because the majority of women are treated, and the viewpoint with a little bit of contempt or a lot of contempt when they ask for more financial help. It's annoying. It's a bugbear.
All right. That's us. It's Friday. We've got to the end of the week.
Yeah.
This is now officially the halfway mark.
Yes.
We have done 15 lives. We have 15 more to go. We will be here Monday to Friday at 12.
Yep.
Bringing you whatever the news is serving us.
Mm-hmm.
And
a parenting conundrum.
And our parenting conundrums. And we really urge you to join us, join in, comment, tell your friends, share it.
Yes. Follow us on all the social media platforms as well.
Yep.
That's on TikTok and Facebook, For Evan's Sake _
For Evan's Sake _
There we go. Yes. But thank you.
Brilliant.
You. And thank you so much to our regulars, and thank you for everybody that's been commenting as well.
Thank you.
It really means a lot.
We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yes.
Have an awesome weekend. And we will see you back here Monday at 12.
Wrap up warm if you're in the UK.
Woo-hoo.